Okay, what's up, guys? My name is Senan Campbell. As you guys can see from the title, this is my first ever sit down, just real talk, raw video on why closers, sales reps, whatever you want to say, struggle to get into management, or they get into management and they are struggling with it and they can't, find success with it. So I thought I'd just sit down and talk to you guys and give as much value as I can in terms of transitioning from being a salesperson to being a sales manager, because ultimately it is a big jump. Now, why you should listen to me in the first place? I've closed seven figures in sales myself personally, and I've managed a bunch of sales teams, B2B, B2C, and taken a lot of teams from average 5 figure a month sales teams to doing 6 figures a month consistently. So you guys are aware I started sales management in Q1 of this year. So I've been doing management for about a year now. And off the back of that, I've obviously seen a lot of different things, spoke to a lot of different managers, had a lot of experience with a lot of different teams. So I feel like I am well equipped to talk about it to you guys. Now, the first thing that people get mistaken is that just because you're a good salesperson or just because you're a good closer, that means you're going to become a good manager, which is completely incorrect. People need to remember and realize that they are two completely different skill sets. It's not like yin and yang, like, oh, you become a great closer and then you can transition into management really, really easy. No, not at all. It's a completely different skill set. And what I see as well, time and time again, is these people that try and transition into management or try to get management offers, or they start their first roles as a sales manager, they don't invest in themselves, which is pretty stupid, in my opinion. It's the same thing as when you are trying to become a closer, trying to become a great salesperson. You invest in your skill set and you learn from someone who's done it before you. And that's something that I see loads of people get wrong, is they don't actually invest in someone who's done management before. And instead of getting all the failures by yourself and fucking up and being stupid, instead you could invest in someone who's done it time and time again, and off the back of that, make sure that it's extremely successful. And to be honest, the main thing with management is understanding that no matter how good a closer or salesperson you were, you're going to have to completely reshift your identity, the things you're doing on a daily basis, completely reshift who you think you are, all of that good stuff. You literally have to become a completely different person, which people miss time and time again. Alongside that, what I'll say is there's so many different things that go into being a good sales manager that you have to understand to be good, that most people don't understand. There's so many things, and I could talk about it for days. I want to keep this one short, but it's not just about coaching closers and making sure they close more. There's so many other things that you need to get extremely good at. That just like as a closer, you have to take your first calls, you have to mess up, and then get into management. It's the exact same thing. You're going to get in your first management offer. You're probably going to mess up for a couple of weeks, but you're going to get those learnings and you're going to be able to apply them into the larger teams and the better teams that you work on. What else would I say is there to it? Oh yeah, so those other things that I spoke about that are completely separate, like completely different skill sets, they are completely different scope of work as to being a closer. A lot of first thing, recruiting is something that you have to get really good at. You have to get really good at recruiting sales reps. Me, myself, personally, I can find a setter, a closer like that today. If I need a closer to dial for me, or sorry, if I need a setter to dial for me in 3 hours, you best believe I can get one. And I make sure that they're good as well. And they get onboarded at an extremely quick fashion. Same as a closer. If any of my teams ever needed a closer, I'm able to find a closer like that, and make sure that they're the right person for the job and that they get onboarded the proper way. Of course, there's a lot of different things. I probably couldn't think of them much off the top of my head. But things like having a good VSL thank you page. You actually need to understand marketing to be a great sales manager. If you are if all you understand as a sales manager is like the closing side of things, you are not in a good position. You need to understand VSLs, thank you pages, funnels, marketing. You actually need to understand that stuff, because sales and marketing are like that, but like yin yang, like they're so important. And as a sales manager, if the marketing of the business is bad, that is your responsibility, in my opinion. I always take responsibility for everything that is going on within the business. I always act like a CEO as a sales manager. I direct what's going on all the time. And I think a lot of sales managers get that wrong. Understanding the process as well, from a lead opting in to them purchasing. Again, it's way more than just a lead opts in, a seller picks them, calls the phone, and then the closer takes the call and closes them. There's so many different things that go into that to actually make sure you get a successful purchase at the end of it. So many different things. And then, of course, the data side of things. You need to be able to look at one singular page, one singular piece of data that has all these different sales metrics, understand what each and every single one of them mean, and alongside that, know all of the different key things that you can do to change and make those sales metrics way, way better. So, for example, I'm just going to shout out a few. These are like the main key ones that I'm looking at more time than not, dependent on obviously the company. But I'm looking at the booking percentage of the amount of leads that come in, the show rate, the offer rate, the close rate, and the average order value, cash collection percentage as well. You could say it depends on the offer. But those are like some of the key sales metrics that you want to get really good. And you also want to have an understanding of what KPIs do I actually want to hit for these sales metrics? What do I need my show rate, offer rate, close rate, blah, 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 to look like, to ensure that this acquisition system is performing at an extremely high level. Again, I could talk about this for hours, but this video is 6-7 minutes long already. I'm just going to keep these all really short, and I'm just going to bash out as many as I can on a weekly basis. But yeah, if you guys have any questions on sales management, getting offers, blah, 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 happy to help. So just DM me on Instagram, and yeah, I will speak to you guys on the next video. Peace.